So I did promise you guys that I will be back with more tactic testing videos, and in today's video we're going to be looking at a unique tactic from Football Manager 2020. My buddy actually calls this the Venom tactic. That's what he calls it anyway, and he has been using it on FM20 for a while now. There are two things I like about this tactic the most, and just stick around in the video. I'm going to share those two things that I like most about this tactic. We're going to be testing this tactic out with 4 teams. That's Hadjuk Split, Hibernian, Dundee FC and Panathinaikos. These are 4 different teams in their 4 respective divisions that are predicted to finish in different positions. We're going to go into that in detail. HNK Hadjuk Split are in the Croatian league, and they are predicted to finish in 4th position, and that's a league of 10 teams. Hibernian, on the other hand, Hibs for short, they are predicted to finish in 4th place as well in the Scottish Premier League, and that's also a league of 12 teams, so Hibernian are predicted to finish somewhat 4th anyway. The third team is probably my specialty, the ones that I actually enjoy adding in tactic testing saves. Dundee FC, they are predicted to finish last in the Scottish Premier League, so it's unique to see how this tactic is going to work out for them and how it's going to work out for Hibs as well. The last team is Panathinaikos AO. They are predicted to finish 4th as well in the Greek Super League, and this is a league of 14 teams, so Panathinaikos are in the European places. They are expected to finish in the European places, so we need to see how well the tactic works out for them. So remember, if you're new to the channel, leave a like on this video if you actually find it useful, and also remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications bell so you can get notified when new videos come up. So going into the tactic then, it's a flat 4-4-2 with wing backs. Both wing backs are on support duty, and they have ball playing defenders on defend duty as centre halves. There's a deep line playmaker on support duty, 2 wingers and 2 advanced forward. It's a fairly simple tactic. It's probably something that will work in the lower league as well, except for the fact that you have ball playing defenders in your lower league teams, which might be a problem. But looking at the super keeper on defend duty, he has 2 instructions: take fewer risks and tackle harder. The wing back on the left hand side and the right hand side do not have identical instructions. The instruction, the wing back on the right hand side has cross from the byline, shoot less, sit narrower, ease of tackles and mark tighter. It's odd how they didn't actually ask him to tackle harder as well. And then the wing back on the left hand side has cross from the byline, dribble more, shoot less often, sit narrower, ease of tackles and mark tighter. The ball playing defenders have little instructions, let me not say no instructions, just to pass it shorter, as both ball playing defenders have been asked to pass the ball shorter. In midfield, there are 2 wingers on attack duty. They as well do have identical instructions in this case. Both wingers have been asked to shoot less often, close down more, tackle harder and mark tighter. Their instructions are identical for either wingers. Then the midfielder here is a mezzala on support duty. That's the midfielder on the left hand side. He's a mezzala on support, and then the deep line playmaker is the midfielder on the right hand side. The mezzala has no instructions, and the deep line playmaker has passes shorter, dribble more, tackle harder and mark tighter. The advanced forwards do not have identical instructions as well. They have been asked to play differently. So here are the 2 things I actually like about this tactic. The first is that we don't have to use inverted wing backs in this tactic. I know you can see that there's a mezzala in midfield, and then the mezzala is going to obviously get forward, and then having inverted wing backs can actually help the tactic out. But I've noticed that there are a lot of tactics with inverted wing backs in this game, and FM22, as far as I'm concerned, bows to inverted wing backs, especially if you have an inverted wing back and a roaming playmaker in the defensive midfield position. Basically, you have the opposition's attack on toast, and they probably struggle to try and break your team down. But the way this tactic is set up, it's wing back on support duty. And the second thing I like about the tactic is that there's a lot of creativity in midfield with some solidity as well. The mezzala has been asked to just play freely, no instructions whatsoever, and the deep line playmaker on support duty has been asked to pass it shorter, dribble more, tackle harder and mark tighter. The deep line playmaker is on support duty. It means that although he's going to hold the midfield and be in this position, and he will also try to be more creative and be at the edge of the box and try and score those long range efforts, and what I've noticed, because that's where the deep line playmaker tends to operate. So those are the 2 things I actually like about this tactic the most: the fact that it's solid in midfield, and then you don't have to use inverted wing back. Now for the forwards, the advanced forward on attack duty, advanced forward is always on attack, why did I even say that? The advanced forward on the right hand side has passes shorter, take fewer risks, shoot less often, roam from positions, tackle harder and mark tighter, while his strike partner, has been asked to play more direct, take fewer risks and close down more. He's also an advanced forward on attack duty as well. We'll go into the team instructions then. Generally, the mentality of the tactic is an attacking tactic. It has an attacking mentality, but then when the team is out of possession, they've been asked to play with a standard defensive line with a much higher line of engagement. The team has also been asked to play with offside trap and then to shoot the opposition outside. That means play with a narrow defensive width. They've also been asked to get stuck in, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, press much more often, and then use tighter marking. This in FM20, by the way, was known as the extremely urgent pressing. Another thing that is unique about this tactic is what the team is asked to do in transition. They've been asked to counter and then to regroup when they've lost possession. Normally you'd see when your team has lost possession, you kind of ask your team to counter press and try and win the ball back early and hit the opposition as quickly as possible. But then using the regroup allows your team to get back into shape and then stop the opposition from scoring with counter attack, or to stop the opposition from playing you on the counter or hitting you on the counter attack or playing through you and trying to create a chance when your team is busy trying to press. So using these two instructions seems to somewhat work well in this particular setup. So we're going to see the results anyway, and eventually if it works out, we'll know. If it doesn't, we'll also know. So when the team is in possession, they have been asked to play with a narrow width, pass into space, play out of defense, and then look for the overlaps on both flanks. They've also been asked to play with a short passing directness, that's shorter passing, and then play with a higher tempo as well. The team has also been instructed to run at defense when they have possession of the ball. So that's basically how the tactic is set up. The DHFM, well, I just added that tag because I kind of recreated the tactic on FM 2022. But basically the tactic's name is Venom. I don't know if that's the complete name of the tactic anyway, but let's just see how this tactic works out for the 4 teams that we have selected in the save so far. So we're here at the end of the season on the 31st of May 2022 with Hadjuk Split, and they won the league with 25 wins. They lost 7 times, they drew 4 times, they had 79 points and just 1 point above Dynamo Zagreb. The amount of goals that Hadjuk Split managed to bag in this division, they scored 111 goals in the league alone. They conceded 50, that's a lot, I have to admit. But then they did score enough to actually win them the league, despite being predicted to finish 4th in their own division. Looking at Hibernian then, just to see how well they did in the Scottish League, Hibernian finished 7th, which isn't really great for a team that was the team that you'd say were predicted to finish 5th or 4th. But Dundee FC, that were predicted to finish last, finished in 3rd place with 62 points. Celtic and Rangers walked the league, of course, they were separate from everybody else. But Dundee FC actually did quite well for themselves. Looking at the amount of goals that they scored so far, looking at the team stats, Dundee were the 2nd. Celtic did score 105 goals, but Dundee scored 84 in the league alone. Now going to Greece, we can see that Panathinaikos as well also won their league. They had 36, or they played 36 games and then they lost only 5. So there's a lot of losing in this tactic as well, but it really doesn't matter to me really if you can actually go on to win the league as well, especially if you're predicted not to win the league. So Panathinaikos were predicted to finish 4th as well. They ended up champions. They beat Olympiacos by 1 point, and so it looks like the tactic actually helps you overachieve despite being the team that was not predicted to finish 1st. Looking at the amount of goals that Panathinaikos scored, they had 88 goals in their league. Olympiacos scored 70 goals in their league, and then they kind of worked everything as well. Most dribbles, most tackles won, most shots on target. The tactic does create a lot of chances. Most points per game is like 2.31. That's a little over 2 points per game. So they were expected to win most games as well as they did well with their tactic. And the more they got familiar with their tactic. So guys, that's a summary of the tactic. I'm going to attach the link in the description down below so you can download the tactic for yourself and try it with your teams. You can try it with a lower league side as well. It's probably going to work because since it's wing backs and wingers, I guess it should work for a lower league side. The problem you would have is the ball playing defenders. So to actually make it safer for lower league teams, you could opt for 2 central defenders on defend duty and then probably ask one of those central defenders to take more risks if they have good passing range. But if they don't, I don't see a reason why you should try and play them with ball playing defenders. It could work, but you can try it. That's the idea about Football Manager anyway, just testing out things and then giving players that expression to try and do things by themselves and then see how the game works out for you. But so far so good. That's how the tactic worked out, the DHFM Venom tactic. It's a flat 4-4-2 that gets amazing results and scores lots of goals. So let me know how the tactic works out for you guys. Remember to leave a like for this video if you found it really useful, and also to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Thanks for sticking out with this video guys, and thanks for watching. I will catch you guys with more tactic videos in the next